We gather today to lift up immigrants who live and work in our community. We give thanks for the many gifts and talents they bring to our nation. All together, pray for all. There are over 32 million immigrants in the U.S. living and working in cities, suburbs, and rural areas across the nation. Except for Native Americans, we were all once new to this country. New immigrants come for many of the same reasons. Most immigrants come escaping poverty and oppression and seeking opportunities. Leviticus 19, verses 33 and 34 tell us. We serve a God who wants justice for all of God's people. A little over 4 years ago, the company I work for decided to move their plant to Mexico. And so I was offered a chance to go to work there, to live in Texas. I really didn't want to go, but I ended up going because I needed the job and they agreed to do what I wanted them to do. So the Lord had a plan. We got there. My wife and I searched out a community like we have here in West Michigan, a community that's seeking justice for other people, and we found an awesome group of people. We're so blessed to have found these people that in McAllen, Texas, that do all kinds of things, and God opened my eyes to a lot of things along the border because we're right on the border with Mexico. Reynosa is where I would go to work every day and cross the border. And in doing that, we met some wonderful people. So then we came back. I retired the first of the year, came back to Michigan this summer, although we did get a place in Texas because I'm not going to spend any more winters up here, unfortunately. The weather is so much better down there in the winter. But when we came back and reunited with our friends at Pax Christi, here we are. God said to us and to the people there, we need to do something on comprehensive immigration reform because Donna and Nancy had had some exposure that just touched their hearts. God sent us back for a reason because we had information on this, living right on the border. And when we started talking, my wife and I said, we know the perfect person that if she's willing to come up and speak to us, can give us some first-hand information on what's going on in South Texas and in the United States. So we invited my friend Martha Sanchez, who works, as I mentioned, for Lupe, to come and visit us. She gladly accepted, and I'm not going to tell you any more about her. She can fill in the rest, but I'd like to introduce Martha Sanchez.
Buenos días. Buenos días. As Fred said, I'm Martha Sanchez, and I come here today with a story of an immigrant. As I'm an immigrant myself. Actually, I'm a first immigrant. My children are first generation here. I was born in a small town, Cárdenas, San Luis Potosí, in the state of San Luis. Before I begin to tell you a little bit about what an immigrant looks like, because I know you had seen many, and maybe sometimes we don't see them because they live in the shadows, but I'm fortunate enough to come, being able to be in the light and being able to tell my story, which is the story of a lot of the immigrants. I wanted to thank Fred and Pax Christi and all of you who contributed for my being here. I feel very fortunate, humble for this opportunity because being in South Texas, we're very far from everything. They said that the end of the world will get there 2 weeks later because we're pretty far, everybody, when I said we live in Texas, people always said, do you know somebody who lives in Houston? And I said, well, we're like 380 miles south of Houston. So we're pretty far. We're at the end, I guess, in the tip. And that's where we live and we minister to a lot of the immigrant families who are not able to cross the checkpoint, the second checkpoint that we have there. So that's what we're going to talk about to you. I'm going to talk to you about this morning, but I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to be in here. And my story, it's not a big different story. As I said, I came to the States when I was 15 years old. And I came to the States because I was an orphan. I loved study. I was in school, but I didn't have anybody to support my schooling. As you know, past you middle school, you have to have the money to continue studying in Mexico. And I didn't have any money to support me, so I had to come and work. I was waiting to be 15 years old because that's the time that they can hire you as a maid in the houses. They cannot hire you before you're 15 because they're afraid that they're going to be accused of having people underage. Like 15 years old is too old to be a person of work, right? So I came at 15 for the same reasons that a lot of the people comes. This is just a typical story. But let me tell you a little bit about my life before I came here. I finished my 6th grade education in Mexico, and I had to work because I didn't have nobody to support me. My job before I came to the United States paid me 90 pesos a month. 90 pesos equates to $7 a month. When I got my first check, or my first cash, I wanted to replace the pair of shoes that I had worn out that month. I couldn't even pay new shoes. I had to buy used shoes. And that is very typical. And I only had to support myself, but I know that a lot of the people who are here, they have families to support. And I know that in here in Muskegon, as Fred was telling me, it's a very poor county. You have high unemployment, but you can't compare what third world countries are, the poverty over there.